Hello and welcome back to the Hometown Business Podcast. My name is Autumn Dell. I am your host and I am here with Doug Blevins from Doug Blevins. Oh my gosh, I should have found out the exact name. How do you present?
The way that we listed actually is Alfa Insurance - Doug Blevins Agency.
Awesome. Okay, got it. Gosh, that should have been something I asked beforehand, but you know what? This is real. So today's episode is sponsored by Kepner Boxing Franchise. Keith Kepner was on the podcast probably about 2 weeks ago, I think episode 28. He was on here just talking about his business, his boxing gym, and now he's a sponsor. So that is awesome. Kepner Boxing and Fitness redefines an entire industry and transforms what people envision when they think of a boxing gym. They definitely have something unique and have strategically designed their franchise model for ease of operations and replication in the hands of franchise partners. So if you want to know more about that, you can go to their website. I'm going to put it in the show notes, but I'll go ahead and let you know here too. It's www.kepnerboxing.com/start a franchise. It's hard to say. So I'm just going to put it in the show notes. And if you're interested, you can go check them out as well. But today I'm here with Mr. Doug Blevins and I'm excited. We've been trying to do this for a while, but you know, everybody back to school, sick, all that fun stuff, or not fun stuff. But he is the owner and agent at Alfa Insurance, like you said earlier. So I'm going to let him just kind of introduce himself and tell us like how you got into insurance.
Sure, yeah. So my name is Doug Blevins. I actually got into insurance. I was recruited by my family's insurance agent. It started probably when I was getting ready to leave high school. He became a good friend, mentor, and he was on me about coming to work for his insurance agency and getting to learn the business. And I thought the way of the future was something called computer networking. So I was going to college for computer networking. Yeah. And I got a couple years into that, decided I wanted to finish the degree so that I could put it in the frame that my mother had purchased my starting year of college. But I decided I was going to give this insurance thing a try. So I stopped with my associate degree in computer information systems and actually got into the world of insurance and have felt called to do it ever since. I have absolute passion for it, and I know that it's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So we'll just jump right in because I know, like, as a mom, you know, with kids and a family and a business, insurance is something that I know is super valuable. And I always, like, as my business grows and my kids get older and I realize just how expensive they are, I want to know, like, what kind of insurance policy should I have as, you know, a parent and a business owner?
Sure. So the biggest stigma in the insurance world is you've got policies that you're required to have and you've got policies that you're not required to have. And when people see insurance as just another bill, then it's viewed as anything else. It's viewed as something that, you know, why am I paying for this? How can I cut these costs? What am I paying for? You know, it's just another bill. And until you learn what your insurance is really doing for you, your family, your assets, and until the day comes that you need your insurance policy, that's when you fully understand why you have what you have and what you're paying, why you're paying that amount. We don't sell anybody anything. So I can't stand in the industry if somebody refers to me as an insurance salesman or hey, you still selling insurance? I can't stand that. And it's always eat at me. Because we don't sell anybody anything. We explain what it does and we do that at a very high level, and we want you to understand what you need and why you have it. Right. And then all of a sudden it becomes a whole lot more clear, here's why I'm paying this bill. Okay. We like to use the example that this is not seeing who has green beans on sale this week. Right. Okay. Insurance policies are not created equal. They are not the same. Even if you have the same coverages, they are not equal. All right. Wording in policies, how companies stand behind their claim process, how they stand behind that promise, you're not purchasing retail. Okay, so the way that I like to describe that to people is you're not seeing whether it's Kroger or Publix that has green beans on sale this week. It's not the same thing that you can purchase. Let me see who has it at the best price. Yeah. Okay, price matters. We all know that. All right, but it changes the entire outlook on everything when you know, oh, that's why I'm paying that, and not just, hey, can you get my insurance any cheaper?
Right.
Because I've done you zero favors, and I have set you and your family and your future up for failure if we go taking things away from that policy that you need to make it a cheaper price. When you explain to somebody what they're at risk for right now, hey, are you aware right now that if this happens, you're open to getting sued for this? Are you aware that if this happens, you know, all we can pay is this, and they're coming after your retirement, your 401k, your house? When they understand, oh, so that's at risk, I'm in danger right now, but we moved this over here into this column, we moved this over here into this side of the policy, and they're protected from that. Protecting somebody's financial future all of a sudden makes this a whole lot different ball game than who's got the cheapest price.
Right.
And then as we kind of alluded to earlier, who's going to stand behind that promise?
Yeah.
Who's going to be there when the time comes, or when it hits the fan? You know, who's having to call a call center and get transferred from here to here to here, and in what country and in what state, and who's going to be there eyeball to eyeball, as we like to call it, ready to stand in and cash in on that promise.
Right. Yeah, that's huge. Like, I mean, nobody likes to think of what will happen to my family if something happens to me, but I like to think that a chunk of change sitting there ready to cover bills, cover funeral expenses, pay off the mortgage would at least soften the blow a little bit, make something that they don't have to go out and think, gosh, you know. And I mean, as a parent, if something happens to me and my husband, like, I want whoever is wrangled with my children to at least have all the money that they need to be able to take care of my kids, send them to prom, get them a car, send them to college, you know. That, I mean, it's a huge deal.
See, right now you're talking about something that's not required to have in most cases. If you got a situation with some blended families, a judge may step in and you may be required to have a life insurance policy, but most of the time a life insurance policy is not required for somebody to have.
Right.
And that's what you're speaking on right now.
Yeah.
So you're required, if you have an auto and it's financed, you're required to have certain coverages on it for the finance company. You're required in the state of Georgia to have liability auto insurance coverage. You have a mortgage on your home, you're required to have home insurance.
Yeah.
You're not required to have life insurance.
Right.
But everything that you just named off, none of those are going to be taken care of. None of those are going to be provided for. You have a nightmare waiting at your doorstep if you do not have a proper life insurance policy. And of course, we could do an entire different episode on this, but people think that everybody has a running checklist in their head. You know, we have busy lives, and we think, okay, I've got benefits at work. You know, they provide me life insurance, they provide me 401k. Okay, life insurance check, retirement check. They think that stuff's done.
Right.
Where if you sit down and work with a professional, you know, that actually knows this stuff inside out and shows you, hey, do you know what you really have? Do you know what this is going to do? See, a lot of people are not aware of the fact that, number one, if you have a life insurance benefit through work and you think, oh, my family's good, we have life insurance, what they don't know is, number one, how much is going to pay out? How much is the policy for? Some places just have a $25,000 or $50,000 flat benefit. Some places allow you to have like one time your annual salary. I don't know about you and your family. I don't know about the folks that are listening, but 1 year annual salary is not really doing my family any favors.
Right.
What are they going to do the rest of the 20, 30, 40 years after that 1 year's up? Okay. But they also are not aware that benefit through work life insurance is also taxed as ordinary income after the first $50,000. So depending on what tax bracket you're in, most of us are in like a 30-something% tax bracket. That's taking nearly half of your benefit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get my $100,000 annual salary. Well, no, you're not. Because half of it's going to taxes.
Right.
So then you've just done your family even less favors.
Yeah.
Because $100,000 does not go very far these days.
Right. No.
So all the things that you just named, when you start getting into the necessities, and then you want to get them a dress for prom and a vehicle, and you want to make sure they can go to school, you're not doing that on $100,000.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it does not have to be expensive. There's many ways you can set it up. We structure policies to where you're leaving a guaranteed legacy, to where we're helping you with tax strategies for the future. Taxes are going to be higher in the future. There's absolutely no way around it.
Right.
You need to have a plan in place to combat against that. But you can do a life insurance very simplex that does what you need it to do from point A to point B for very, very, very inexpensive premiums.
Right.
But you can also set one up to do anything as elaborate that you want to do, and make sure that you've even got a nest egg built up in retirement if you don't die prematurely. So again, we could get into a whole other episode with that, but one of the biggest things that I would want to stress is, I have life insurance at work. You really, really, really need to make a phone call to a professional, and I would just suggest somebody local with a good reputation that is going to shoot you straight and not try and sell you something, but show you what you've got, show you what's going to happen as is now, and make sure it takes care of what you want to make sure happens.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my husband has it set up where he does have a policy at work, but it's supplemental. It's just to get the benefits of what the business gives.
Exactly.
But it's not worth depending on.
You can't rely on it.
Right.
And that's just as black and white as I can be.
Right. So my mom, when I grew up, she was an adjuster for workman's comp claims.
Okay.
And she said, she's always told me, like, she is my, like, don't do this or this could cause that. She always, like, foresees anything that could happen and scares me to death a lot of times. But she told me once that she was in court and the judge nailed the person because they had something happen and didn't have an umbrella policy. And the judge said, you do something where you should have known better, so therefore you are liable.
Absolutely.
So like, and I just know, like, the business owner is often the one who's expected to know what they need to have in place when it comes to being sued or an accident. What kind of things should a business owner have outside of your normal insurances?
Oh my goodness! Well, you're talking about a different animal now, and I need to go ahead and give a lot of credit to where it's due at my agency right now. My right hand at my agency, my commercial specialist, he's also my senior associate agent, Travis Pegram. He rattles his stuff off in his sleep. Oh. And such a blessing to have him on our team. If he was sitting here with us right now, I could sit back, kick my feet up, and just let him wear you out. He does a fantastic job, but you are entering into a different world with business insurance compared to just personal. You've got a lot more moving parts.
Right.
Okay. There's no cookie cutter plan. All right. And if there is, you've got somebody that again is just trying to sell you something.
Right.
All right. Or what we like to call, they're not an insurance agent, they're an insurance quoter.
Yeah.
They just look at the policies you got and they find a way to give you a cheaper price, but they've done nothing to evaluate your needs,
right,
your wishes, your goals, protection. None of that was done.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing that we do when somebody wants to give us the privilege of possibly moving their business to us, we're going to take a look at what they've got, and then we're going to start looking for problem areas and concerns. Okay. And if there is not any, which is rare, we're going to give them a high five.
Right.
Hey, good for you. You've done something right along the way. But it's not. It is the responsibility of the client. Okay. It's that business owner. It's that individual's. Like they should know what they've got. But again, that's also why they're hiring so professional.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the reason I say we're a relationship business, and you need to have somebody that you trust and that knows you by name and that can sit down and shoot you straight on this stuff. Because when you jump online. And it's not my style to try and bash anybody. We all purchase things online, but when you're talking about something like this and you jump online and you just give yourself a quote, there is no professional that cares about the outcome for you, your business, your family on the other side of that webpage.
Right.
Okay. So when it comes, but to get back to answer your question as best I can in just a vague situation. In a business setting, you've got different entities. So like you just mentioned, the workers' comp. Do you have a need for the workers' comp? Do you have the number of employees that is going to mandate you having the workers' comp? All right, do you own your building? Do we need to have the building covered as well? Do we need to be concerned about not the building because you just lease it or rent it, but what about the liability inside? What about your contents? Hey, what happens if your policy runs out of money and there's nothing else the insurance company can pay? Well, now they're going to come after you and sue you.
Right.
Okay? That's why you mentioned earlier an umbrella. Hopefully your agent recommended a little something called an umbrella. Hey, if we run out of this and this and this, let's put an umbrella on top of it to make sure that you come through this thing unscathed and unharmed financially. And that's on the personal side too, not just commercial.
Right.
Individuals, listen, I've handed these checks out. I see the amounts. When an attorney gets involved and they taste blood in the water, they are absolutely going to come after whatever they can get their hands on.
Right.
And when they start maxing these policies out, the insurance company legally can't pay anything else. And they see that you've got the house they can come after, the 401k, the IRA, any other assets, you better have that umbrella in place.
Right. Yeah.
You better be able to say, well, luckily I met with my agent and they recommended that I have something called an umbrella, so now I'm just going to sit back and let the insurance agency and their legal team go in and do what they need to do, and whatever the outcome or the settlement is, I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I mean, because these events that cause you to need insurance are never fun. So like at least take one more thing off your plate. When we rented out a home, like we bought a home and then moved, but it wasn't a good time to sell, and we were renting, and we were like, we got rid of it before we needed it, or before we actually pulled the trigger. But I was like, I should have had an umbrella policy at that point. My tenants could have done it was just us renting to them. So yeah, thinking, protecting your livelihood. That's
I'll give you a real quick umbrella story that really brings things into perspective. We had a client, very intelligent gentleman, all right, great guy, wasn't doing anything wrong, but was driving home from work one evening, all right, it had already gotten dark, it was time of the year where the sun sets a whole lot sooner, and he was pulling into town and going to make a right on red, all right, so he stopped, he looked, he did everything he was supposed to do. But unknown to him was a gentleman on the sidewalk that was also trying to get out of the rain on foot and decided he was going to shoot across the street real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Our driver, again, not doing anything wrong, looked both ways, and as he began to make his right-hand turn, he struck the gentleman. All right. Well, you hit a pedestrian. It doesn't matter how great of a guy you are. It doesn't matter whether you meant to do it, you didn't mean to do it, you looked, you did everything right.
Right.
Our driver's at fault.
Yeah.
Okay, period. All right. So $700,000 later, the final medical bill was paid on this claim. All right. Now this gentleman had $500,000 bodily injury limits with his auto policy. All right. So which is maximum limits in a personal auto policy if you do split limits. Okay.
Yeah.
So he had a very high limit, a very smart move. But the $700,000 exceeded his $500,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So in a regular situation, the insurance company that has accepted liability, they paid the $500,000, and they say, "Hey, we're done here. Good luck." Well, that guy's going to lawyer up, and he's going to come after his other $200,000. Now that's just in medical bills.
Yeah.
What about his time and the pain and suffering and anything else that attorney can dream up?
Yeah.
Right? So luckily, this gentleman was our client. He was a client of mine, and myself and my staff had talked to him about a little thing called an umbrella. So we had an additional $1 million umbrella in place. So instead of having a $500,000 exposure, he had a $1.5 million. Okay? So when everything was said and done, our client was not affected.
Right.
All right? He had what he needed to have. Now, nobody has a crystal ball when it comes to how much am I going to need.
Right.
But if you own anything, if you have anything worth protecting, if you have a future that you want to make sure is not turned upside down financially, oh my goodness, please talk to somebody about putting an umbrella in place.
Yeah. Yeah, because even all like liabilities and stuff aside, how much better are you going to sleep at night knowing that you hit this person and you're able to cover, for them to even, because they're not necessarily scumbags who are just trying to get your money, like they were legitimately hurt. Like if you're not only protecting yourself and your family, you're protecting anybody who could be hurt by something that, accidents happen, but it was still at your hand.
You're saying all the right things. I need to hire you. Do you have some time? We can put you in an office.
I think I have my team out and they drive and they're wearing my shirts there, and it's not even just I want to try to avoid being in trouble or being liable. Like I want to truly be able to do the right thing.
Absolutely.
But it takes money, and
absolutely,
I don't have it just sitting in my checking account.
That's
so,
right.
And a lot of times, you think of, okay, to be prepared, it's just our normal mindset. To be prepared for these situations, we need to save this amount of money. Well, obviously, saving millions of dollars is not an everyday thing, but to purchase an insurance, it's, I think in our minds, they're like, oh, it'll cost a lot if I want $1 million policy. Not really.
Can I go ahead and clue you in on something? And this I may have compliance coming after me on this. I don't know. We may have to come back and edit this out. Again, every situation is different, but I can tell you that on the personal side, now commercial is different. It is going to depend on the business and the industry and things like that. But on the personal side of things, if you have a husband and wife that own a home and have 2 cars, we can do you a $1 million umbrella at my agency for less than $150 a year.
Yeah, insane.
We're talking about $9, $10, $11 a year.
Right.
For complete peace of mind.
Yeah.
This does not have to be expensive. The problem is it's not flashy, it's not sexy. Nobody's making any commission off of that.
Right.
My office, do you know what my office makes off of a $150 policy? Nothing. We can not even the gas to get home that day.
Yeah.
But it's the right thing to do. Okay.
Right.
It's having our clients taken care of, and And by us having that extra conversation with you, you've just, number one, we've done what you've hired us to do. Mm-hmm. And are you getting that somewhere else? That's what I tell my team every day.
Right.
It is our job. It is our job to ask the questions and to educate. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. It's their job to instruct us what they want to do. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have that in place, like we talked about what can happen, but you're talking about spending nothing.
Right. Nothing. Like your order at Starbucks or Chick-fil-A or whatever for the day can cover that. Well, that's huge. Well, okay, I want to switch over a little bit, but not really, because you've talked about how like you don't see you and your team as salesmen.
No.
Sales is one thing that I'm like really working at honing in my business, but I'm a little bit the same way. Like when you think of cleaning companies, you know, it's not something that, I mean, typically you go in, you ask how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, look at the dirt, and you come up with a quote or a sale. But what I like to do is really find out what's not working, what having a messy house or, you know, fighting over who's going to clean up at the end of the night is causing, like what kind of pain that's causing in your life. And I want to know, is it bad enough that you need help? Is it something that we're going to be able to help you with? Because cleaning your toilets, anybody can do that. But not anybody can really step in and give you peace of mind that the team is totally safe, but that you're not going to have to fight with your spouse anymore because it doesn't matter. I mean, somebody else is vacuuming and cleaning the bathrooms and all that fun stuff. So like, I'm really trying to see sales in a different light. And it sounds like that's a little bit what you guys do. So like, how do you train your team or encourage your team to see the sales side of it?
Yeah, so I'll tell myself a little bit. I am so anti-sales that I am the stereotypical. When I walk into a store, as soon as I'm approached, I am I'm just looking.
Right.
No thanks. Yeah. I'm just looking.
Yeah.
And it's just this instinct that we all have. We probably all do it without even meaning to.
Like, and stop following me.
Yeah, and you know darn well you need help because you walked in there for something, but you just, you don't want, and it's because we don't want to feel pressured.
Right.
We don't want to be. Here's the biggest thing: we don't want to be sold. Nobody wants to be sold, and I don't want to sell anybody anything. I want to provide value. I want for somebody to want to build a relationship with me. I want to earn that trust, to continue to prove that trust, and I want them to choose to buy from my agency. Right. I want you to choose to buy. I don't want to sell you anything. Right. Okay. Now, as you said earlier, it takes money. Okay. And money it's a tool. It is a problem solver. I will show you the solution to your problems. You just give me the go-ahead for me and my team to do it, and it's going to take money to pay that premium. Right. Okay. But as far as sales, from when somebody comes on and joins my team, they join our agency. Rule number one from day one is you talk to every single person like it is your mom and dad, like it's your grandmother and your grandfather, okay? Yeah. Because if you're telling your granny what she needs on her car or her home, you're absolutely going to shoot your granny straight. I would hope you would. Yeah. If you wouldn't, you need to reset. You need a hard reset. Right. But that's how we approach everything, and that's how I've done it since the beginning, and it's how I teach my team. I want to be treated, and I treat others the way that I want to be treated. I know how I would want to be treated if I called, for a new truck, for insurance, okay, for furniture, for whatever it is. I know how I want to be treated. Now, people are different, but I'm just a very strong believer because I'm a hard sell too. But if I treat everybody the way that I want to be treated, I don't see that going south. Right. And I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, because no matter how much value you provide, no matter how you show somebody that umbrella is needed, that life insurance policy is needed, not everybody is going to say, okay. Right. We learn real quick that us as humans, me included, we're very selfish individuals, and that's just how we're made. Okay. But my team does a very good job of showing you why we're encouraging you to do something, or why we're recommending something, and giving examples and trying to make it real and pertains to your life. Yeah. That way there's never a time to where you ever feel like you have been sold or are being sold something at our agency. Yeah. And so, everybody has bought into that culture. That is how things are done at my agency. If you ever feel like you've been sold something at my agency, make me aware. But it won't happen because everybody everybody there has already experienced something with a claim with a client, with the death of a family member of a client, with the use of an umbrella, with a commercial policy. Everybody there has now experienced the importance of what they do, and it has now, even though Doug said this is how we do it, now they've experienced, oh my gosh, this is why we do it.
Right.
And it's real. And we like to be the people that get to put our capes on when the poop hits the fan.
Yeah.
We don't like to, we're never going to be the people that cannot look you in the eye at the ball field. We're not going to go down the opposite aisle at the grocery store.
Yeah.
We're going to be, we're not always going to be the cheapest.
Right.
We're absolutely not always going to be the cheapest. Well, we had a situation, the reason I was not here earlier than I was today is because we had somebody that called, and they referred to me by somebody else, and I took the call knowing that I needed to get on my way to you, but they wanted us to look over some paperwork. And again, we could do an entirely another episode on this, but they had state minimum limits on their auto insurance. Guys, that is no.
That's just enough to get you out of the ticket.
That's not, there's no way the state of Georgia, which our insurance commissioner, well, there's a third podcast for us. There's no way that it can remain legal much longer. But you are being set up for failure if anybody would set you a policy with state minimum limits.
Yeah.
Which is $50,000 total for bodily injury, and only $25,000 for one person.
Right.
And only $25,000 for property damage. Now, I'm looking out your window of your office right now, and I'm going to be honest with you. Any of those cars that are brand new or even just a couple years old, $25,000 isn't replacing the majority of those cars.
Right.
Every other car you pass on the road, $25,000 ain't going to cut it.
Right.
Well, guess what? You're getting sued because that insurance company, they say all we owe is $25,000.
Yeah.
And then that lawyer's coming after you doing the rest. So, without getting too far off base, as soon as I looked at it and I saw that, my office doesn't even offer that. We will not do that, okay? But we don't just turn somebody away and say, I'm sorry, this isn't going to be a good fit.
Right.
We want to have that conversation with them. Can you tell me why you had these limits set up? Okay, and the sad part is most of the time, they got on a website, they don't have a personal agent, okay, or they think having an agent costs too much, and they got online and they used one of these build your own quote tools, and this is what I want to pay, or how do I make my policy cheaper? And what you're doing is hurting yourself by getting the policy cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And there's nobody on that website or nobody at that call center cares enough about you, or is it worth it to them to explain what they're getting ready to sell you?
Right.
Okay. And so I had, at the risk of almost being late, I had this conversation with these folks, and they had no idea. Had no idea. They were just flabbergasted.
Yeah.
And I explained to them. I was talking to the wife, and I said, ma'am, I said, my agency will not even sell you this policy. I said, you've been such a pleasure to talk to. I can tell you're a great lady. We'd love to have you as a client. We want to earn your business. And I said, but if you're insistent on these coverages, we will not, because we're not going to put your family in this situation.
Right.
It's not going to happen. I will not sleep good tonight if we do this.
Yeah.
But then after explaining what that coverage does, she was blown away.
Right.
She said, nobody has ever, and unfortunately that's how it is. Because again, we go back to, here's my options for buying insurance, whereas it's not the same as it's not the same thing everywhere.
No. And what I always tell potential clients is any amount of money spent that's not really meeting the need is a waste. So why waste that? I know some people, I guess they probably, like you said, haven't been talked to by an agent who can actually educate them on what's going to happen, which it's a little bit like you guys have a harder job. I mean, when people come to me, they're ready to pull their hair out because their house is a mess and they're tired of cleaning, but you guys have to get people fired up and feeling the pain of something that hasn't happened yet. But I mean, I'll take fighting with my husband over a messy house over being stuck with bills like crazy, or my family being left with nothing.
And saving money is fantastic. We all love to do that. But if we're saving, look how cheap my insurance premiums are. Saving. When the day comes, you need that insurance.
Right.
When the day comes that you're in that accident, you get that lawsuit. Okay. Oh my God, the house burns down. I mean, think of it as big or small as you want to, and the insurance company steps up and denies that claim because you missed this coverage here.
Right.
Or you didn't see this in our policy here. How much did you really save? When the time comes where that claim's denied.
Yeah.
Whereas you might have paid somebody more money, but you're not paying more,
right,
you were paying for the correct thing.
Yeah.
And then you've got people that again, if you're dealing locally, know you by name and show up eyeball to eyeball with a check. And hey, everything's gonna be fine. We're here.
Yeah,
So.
you have an agent who knows what you don't know, because obviously, I mean, we're not expected, or maybe we are expected, but we don't know everything about insurance and won't even pretend to. So to have an agent who can really come alongside you, and like living in Walton County, I mean, try to avoid them. If they don't show up, good luck. You'll see them everywhere.
Well, and you're right. They put the burden on you and I, because when we get online and we find that cheaper insurance, okay, and we think we're getting this great deal, they mail you out a policy. Or when you're dealing with that 1-800 number, you see the cute little commercial on TV, and you think, oh, these guys are great. They're on TV every night. No, wrong.
Right.
Okay. You get that insurance policy in the mail. They're off the hook. You want to know why? Because you and I, it's our responsibility at that point, that we're supposed to look through what we just purchased,
right,
and we're supposed to be able to break down all that lingo that you need a lawyer reading off to you.
Right. And
then when the time comes that you need it, they say, oh, no. If you'll look right here on, page 28, section, 8E, or wherever it's at, oh, right here's where it says that we don't this, or we don't that, or you opted out of this, or you didn't have this.
And you had no idea.
Then it all comes crumbling down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's huge. So, like, you have totally encouraged me. I mean, I have good insurance from what I know, but we'll be talking after this because I don't know about all of it. So, but that's good because, like, as a business owner, there's a million hats you have to wear, and to have an agent, like, that would almost be like a business partner type of relationship,
100%.
like, because that's a whole facet of your business that, unless you are just really educated in that realm, like, there's so many other things you need to be spending your time on, but you don't need to slack on the coverage.
It's funny you said that. Our business owners, our business owner clients, absolutely, and I'm gonna brag on my team for a little bit here. They absolutely love working with us because we like to let people know that we're a one-stop shop. And whereas that may sound like a slogan or a gimmick, that's really geared towards not just individuals, but as business owners as well, because, and you know this and I know this, all those hats we have to wear, how much more difficult is our day if we've got a policy with this guy and a policy here,
right,
my personal's here, my business is here, my life insurance is here, or when I do my retirement planning with them, what if you and I had one phone call to make?
Right.
Or I'll one up that, one email, or in my agency, one text message.
Yeah.
Because my phone number that's on every billboard, that's on everything that you see on the internet, Google, whatever, you can send a text to that, and my team, it pops up on everybody's computer right then.
Yeah.
All right, and they're going to get that to the right person.
Right.
When you've got a business owner that can call and say, here's what's going on with my car, my house, my life insurance, my retirement, my business policy, and you've got one person, like what you said, that is what we like to build,
right,
and that is a relationship with every person.
Yeah.
And it's worth its weight in gold.
Right. And that's good too, because I've thought before, like, what if something happens to my husband and I? How are we going to easily make it where the person who steps in and takes my kids knows where to get all this stuff? I mean, like, I've lost sleep at night thinking, how will they know everything?
That's right. Whereas to your point, if you say, hey, if anything happens to mom or dad, you need to call, and I mean, I'll use myself as an example.
Right.
You need to call Doug's office.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Right.
We step in.
Yeah. That's phenomenal.
And I'll brag on I know I keep bragging on my team. I can't brag on them enough.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, and you and I kind of got off into life insurance earlier, we actually, last year, we were awarded membership. We were a $1 million roundtable qualifier. And that's something I've strived for my entire insurance career, that this is going back, 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
I used to just hear about it and it was a myth. And then I started learning more about it and I knew it was real. And then I found out what you had to do. And we actually qualified for that last year. Huge honor, and means the absolute world to me, and it puts us in the top 1% of all insurance agents in the world.
Wow.
It's a worldwide organization, and it really pertains to life insurance and financial products. Okay, so when the time comes that somebody has to call because something happened to mom or dad, okay, here's what you don't want. And again, I don't wish anything on anybody. But from my experience, here's the situation you don't want to put your family in. They don't want to, number one, not know where to start. Okay. Then number two, what if they don't have a personal relationship? What if they don't even have a local person?
Right.
All right. Well, now I'm having to Google an 800 number. All right, then that person is going to transfer me here and then here and then here. Well, you can't go there and sign any paperwork.
Right.
And you better believe that there's signatures involved when you get into financial planning and life insurance. So now they're going to be mailing you paperwork out. It got lost in the mail. You forgot to sign here. You're mailing it back and forth. It is not a good process.
No.
And you can start, doing your own research online. You can find out real quick. That is a nightmare for your family.
Right.
And all the while, the bills are due. The bank wants the mortgage. I mean, all that's going on. We need money for groceries. Okay. So, an insurance policy that's purchased through us, there has to be a death certificate provided by the coroner, obviously. But when you provide that to my agency, because you have to be the one to do that.
Right.
Once you get that document to us, your part is done.
Yeah.
And we hand a check to you. I hand it to you personally, unless you just don't want to see anybody the next day. I have it in 24 hours.
That's phenomenal.
So my team, me personally, have a check. And we're asking you, is it okay to stop by at this time tomorrow? And that's unheard of.
Yeah.
So I cannot stress enough. We want to earn everybody's business. We're going to do it by doing things the right way, glorifying who we need to glorify. Okay.
Yeah.
But you also need to take into consideration saving a few bucks is great. But again, you can look and do some research and find out the years that passed that there's uncollected death certificate claims. Life insurance funds that hadn't been paid out, and people that are losing everything because I don't know who to talk to.
Right.
I've called this company. They keep telling me it's being processed. It's a nightmare, and that's a very, very bad time for a family.
Right.
Okay. So they need a helping hand.
Yeah.
They need a ray of sunlight right then.
Yeah.
So again, please reach out and consider dealing with somebody that actually cares about your outcome.
Right.
And can do it here on a local level.
Yeah, because you mentioned that you're not the cheapest, but it sounds like it's worth every penny.
Well, I probably don't need to shoot myself in the foot too much. There's every day we're going to cut somebody's premium in half. But what I don't want you to expect is, hey, these guys sound great. Let me call and see how much they can save me. Because again, if there's a way to save you money, we're going to do it. And I would say that 50% of the time we blow people away with how much lower our premium is.
Right.
With everything that you and I have discussed.
Right.
But it is not always going to happen. I can tell you this, I could get my insurance cheaper somewhere else.
Yeah.
It used to be. Before I actually started the Alfa agency, it used to be.
Yeah.
But I know how we take care of things.
Right.
And that's what I'm paying for.
Yeah. As I get older, I'm trying to, and especially because, being more in the sales side of thing with my own business, I'm trying to be a better buyer. And what I'm learning is that we've been kind of conditioned our whole lives to buy based on the price, but the price is not everything. Like, are your needs being met? Is the team trustworthy? Are you going to be in pain later, or so I'm trying to really, when it comes to making purchases, big and small, to be like, okay, how can I be the buyer that I hope my clients will be? Because
Absolutely.
It's not about money, and you've got to get people out of that mindset to see beyond the money, because money can be replaced. If you want more money, you can get more money, but what you can't get is your time back,
That's
your
exactly
headache
right.
back.
Time is our largest asset.
Right. So that is very cool. Well, okay, so where can people find you?
Well, we're located right in the middle of the city limits of Loganville. So we're in Hampton Place. We're in the, if you pull into Hampton Place, we're the large office in the back, straight ahead. You'll be looking over, if you look over your steering wheel, you're looking at our front door as soon as you enter Hampton Place.
Okay.
We're on every outlet. Well, I'll take that back. There's new outlets every day. I'm not big yet on the TikTok.
I know. I have a team member who does it for me. I'm like, keep it clean because I'm not checking.
Yeah, and I don't know how to get in there and look at it and change it. Right? So it's a lot of trust there. But no, you're Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Google. I will give another huge shout out to my team here. They do a phenomenal job, and I think the last time that I checked, I think that we were closing in on 300 Google reviews.
Wow.
Which was just staggering compared to the next closest thing in our industry here locally. So people have taken notice. Yeah. And that means the world to me, because I'll read through those things, and the biggest thing to me, like we just said, trust. Okay? If I could meet with every single client, that walks in the door, myself, answer every phone call, answer every email. If that was physically possible, that's what I would be doing. The reason I started this agency is because one person can't do it.
Right.
But I had to build a team of people that did things the way that I know they need to be done.
Yeah.
Okay. And and my team has bought in, and they're trustworthy. I do not. I'm sitting here with you right now, and I don't have a care in the world, because I know for a fact that I'll either have an email or a text or a phone call later from a client that tells me, "Hey, I just dealt with Maya. I just dealt with Samantha. Just dealt with Sean, and fantastic. You need to give them a raise."
Yeah.
And then I'll tell them they need to buy more insurance policies, so I can afford to give them that raise. But that is everything, and when you're able to have that level of trust, it's not going to work without it.
Right.
So having the reliable people that all do things the right way, because when you physically don't have the time to do that, I'm going to follow up with everything personally. I'm going to put eyeballs on everything personally, but I cannot be during the day all things to all people.
Right.
Because if I'm meeting with this client at 10 a.m. and there's a phone call that comes in at 10 a.m.
Right.
So but we are to their credit. So Google, and then we do have a YouTube channel that I have got to start dedicating more time to. I think you've influenced me to do that a little bit too. But some of the things you and I spoke about today, I've put out there. I've put out there, and I've put it out on as many channels as I can. We were talking about, we've been talking about the life insurance. We've been talking about the umbrella. We've been talking about state minimum. Please. Like, do not put your family in that world of risk. And I've tried to do that, and then we share that stuff out. So we're on every channel that I have a login for.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Who knows what new channel will come out tomorrow?
Right. I know.
But everything, if you'll search, and Alfa is not like Alpha Omega. It's Alfa, ALFA.
Okay.
So Alfa Insurance - Doug Blevins Agency. That's going to find us on anything that there is. And if you Google Alfa or Doug Blevins in Loganville or Walton County, we're going to pop up.
Awesome. Good job. Okay, well, I will share all that in the show notes, and hopefully people who are listening are motivated to reach out thinking like, crap, you got to think of the future, not just the Starbucks I really want right now. Okay, well, I like to end these with a lightning round.
Oh, okay.
And you told me not to throw you any curveballs, but this will be fun curveballs.
Okay.
Okay, so I just know, just from being in the same community as you, that you're married. Where do you guys like to go for date night?
Oh, easy. Our back deck.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
okay. Who's the chef? Or
well, I'll tell you what. I'm the show off. I really like to brag about what I can do on a green egg. But if I'm being completely honest, my wife is the absolute rock star when it comes to that. She actually, during the week, because I like to take meals with me. So that I'm behaving, number one, during the week, but number two, so that I can just have something at the office ready as I'm able to between meetings and appointments and stuff. And she's impressive. She's an impressive cook, and I try and talk her into doing it more and more and more.
And that's huge, because I just know just from the community, she works too.
She sure does.
Holy cow.
She sure does. She does it all. She does it all, and she has given me an absolute, just a magical little boy. He's 11 months old. He'll be a year old, and we're just in disbelief next month. But she juggles that and working and cooking and groceries, and
it's hard.
Allows me to do what I need to do, and couldn't do it without her.
Yeah, well, awesome. That's good to hear. We've started getting the same answers a lot, just because Walton County is not that big.
That's right.
But that's one I have not gotten.
Hey, all right.
So that is awesome. Okay, where do you guys? I've got travel on my brain, because I like to travel, but I feel like we're actually allowed to travel more now.
Sure.
It's easier. Where do you guys like to go on vacation?
Well, I'll tell you what, between the months of September and November, we like to travel to Samford Stadium.
Yeah? Do you have season tickets?
Well, we did. We did until my little one was born last year, and then that proved to be a tall task. So as of this year, no, we won't. But we'll absolutely pick out a couple of big games that we're going to find a way to get to. We usually go just because I've got business stuff and different things out of town. We honestly, a few times a year, they'll come with me, and I'll do what I need to do and get what work I need done, and take care of a few things either that morning or that evening, and then we'll actually make a family vacation out of that.
That's
so
awesome.
We'll kind of combine two into one, and optimize our time a little bit.
We're doing something like that in October with Hilton Head. I'm a part of a coaching group, and so for like 2 days we do the coaching group, and then we're going to make it a week-long.
We love Hilton Head.
So, I've never been. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well that's cool. Let's see. Oh, okay. Who do you go to for inspiration? Are you a book reader, podcast listener?
Oh yeah. And I'll tell you what, I absolutely despise reading. I hate it. But I mean, again, if you want to be optimal, if you want to be all you can be, it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's just like exercise, it's like eating right. I mean, if you want to have that type of performance and work ethic, and the way I look at it, if you want to give your clients what they deserve,
right?
If I'm influencing you to earn your business and give me your business, do you want somebody that knows enough to get a license, or do you want somebody that's up on everything and up to date and knows everything that there is to know about it? And I credit a lot of that to our $1 Million Roundtable status as of last year, because we're very passionate about it. Very passionate, but yes. So I am a reader. I have a routine. My wife can't stand it. I like the same things every day.
Yeah.
If I could do them at the same time every day, then that'd be fantastic. But I actually do have a routine. And before I go to bed each night, when I finally get to the point to where kids are in bed and things are packed for the next day, I'll actually read a little bit in my office, and then before bed. And I have to do a couple chapters in the Bible every night, because Lord knows I need it.
Yeah, keeps you grounded.
Yeah, but then I have either an industry book, something to do with retirement planning, taxes, insurance, or something that's just maybe
self-help.
I wouldn't say motivating. It's motivating when you apply it, but more just like how can I be a better me?
Yeah.
How can I be better to others? So yeah, a big reader, but not a what would you say? Not a fan of reading.
Yeah, that's good. Right now I'm reading. I just started it last night because it sparked my thought about it when you said you like things the same way. The Miracle Morning, and it's just talking about really getting up earlier, setting that routine. Kids are back at school, and if I wake up at 7, I'm like trailing behind them. But if I could wake up 30 minutes to an hour earlier, how nice would that be? So it's something. It's on my goals for next month, maybe. I don't know. So
well, I can tell you this too. In addition to reading, we have a heart for our community. You and I were talking before this, and we love Walton County. I love where I came from. I'm grateful for it, but man, I tell my wife every day, I wish we could have lived here sooner.
Yeah.
But we have things in our office too, because we do have a heart for community. We do have a heart to give, and we've got, I think, 5 different ministries that we give to now. We give proceeds to them on a monthly basis. So when you're talking about a motivator, when you've got a whole team of people at the agency that is motivated to get, United Way, Path Project, FCA, NG3, Special Needs and Treats Bakery, all these nonprofits, when when you've got something where you go, hey, you know what? The more that we get after it, the more people we win over, the more that goes to them. Oh, it's huge.
Right.
Huge motivator.
Yeah.
Huge motivator.
And that says a lot about your team too, that they've
got a great heart.
Core values.
They've got a great heart.
That is awesome. Okay. Well, I'm going to share all your answers and share how to get in touch with you and all of that good stuff. So hopefully people will be reaching out because they've been motivated to just be a part of your agency. So
that sounds great.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will be back next week. Bye.
Congratulations on spending a few minutes getting a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Walton County business community. If you're feeling super generous, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are. If you're a business owner in Walton County and would like to be interviewed on our show, go to our Hometown Business Podcast Facebook page. Until next time, keep supporting local.